Hello, YouTube. All right. The other day we were having house battery system issues where it wasn't charging back up through the alternator. So I wasn't able to fix it because I had to get my kids and didn't have the time. But now I have a little bit of time. I'm going to try to work on this because this is kind of a critical system. And let's see what's going on right now. Okay, we have the switch. The vehicle is running right now. I have the switch off, and it says 120. I don't know if the camera is picking it up. It says 12.0 volts. 12.0 volts is what it currently has right now, and the switch is off. So that means it's reading the vehicle battery. But now when I switch it on, it should jump up to, and it is jumping up, to 13.1, 13.2. So that means it's charging. Well, earlier today when I flipped it on, it didn't charge, but it might be charging because I was messing with this. The other day we had diagnosed the red cable, the positive, and realized that the red is working. So where the positive cable is working, that means the switch is probably working, the alternator is working, the inverter right here is working. So the bad area is here, the ground that goes from the inverter down to the vehicle ground, which you can see I was messing with, which is probably why it's working now. But basically, I took this panel up. This is the plastic panel that actually comes up. And you can see how I had it screwed down there. You can see it's also rusted and has corrosion on the tip. So what I'm going to do today is just actually unscrew that thing, cut a new tip, put a new tip on it, and then screw it back down. Because I think that's what the problem is. I don't know if you can see that there may be some corrosion there. So I might even take some sandpaper and sand that down a little bit to make sure it makes really good metal-to-metal contact. Because that right there, that location right there seems to be the problem. That or here or the cable itself. But I think the cable's fine other than the tip. So that's what we're going to work on today. And with any luck, that will resolve the situation. And I will have a system working again without all the issues that I've been having where it wouldn't charge back up. So stay tuned for that. Alright, I got my handy dandy assistant rigged so that you can kind of see me working here. Debating if I want to take more of this off. I don't want to take everything completely apart, so maybe just this part right here. I think that's all I had anyways. I need to try not to break this, but I want to unscrew that right there. See the little screw right there? I don't know if you can see the situation here. We're going to unscrew that right there. I've turned everything off. I've disconnected the system. Of course, this is still live though, because this is connected to the vehicle battery, which I need to turn off actually. But I'll deal with that in a minute. Yeah, this is all rusted. But it's not this part that's the issue. This being rusted isn't really that bad. It's the metal underneath. You can see where I had, I don't know if you can see, I had sanded it to try to remove the paint, to give it good metal-to-metal contact. And evidently, it no longer has that. So we're going to take this completely off. I might even use the same screw if I can't find a better one. It'd be nicer to find a better one, but it's not really that rusted here. But this is not looking that good. And I don't see too much rust, but I do see some corrosion on here. I don't know if you can see the corrosion, the green. Right there, the little green corrosion and stuff. So, look at that. It got hot and melted all that. So I'm just going to cut this and put a new tip on it. And see if that fixes my problem. But I see here it got really hot. Look at that, melted. So this is probably why we're having issues. But we're just going to simply cut this and put a new tip on it. Alright, we're going to try to cut this tip off. Okay. Look at that. It's corrosion, potential fire. That's not good. It got really hot there. What I may do is, see how that melted? That's how hot it got. And I'm looking, what I may have to do, what I'm thinking of doing is, and I think I will do that, I'm going to put another inline fuse over here, but not right now. But this connection to the ground, I'm going to put a fuse here. Because see, this is a potential fire. This is how you die. The fact that it's all burnt right there means it got so hot, the plastic melted. So what I'm going to do is put this tip on and use it for now, but I know I'm going to cut this line later, and I'm going to put an inline fuse. So that, you know, it makes it more complicated because now you got fuses, you got several fuses where you got to look. But the fuse that's up front connects to the vehicle battery. But now this is the fuse for the house battery. So it'll be safer by adding the fuse, because I can see here this is a potential fire hazard. It could have melted, it could have caught this plastic on fire, and the whole van would have been on fire. So glad I found this. Glad that we were having issues to the point where I could see that there's a problem. We're going to make a new tip on it, and we're going to put an inline fuse. I'm not going to do it right now, but I'll do it here very, very soon, just for additional safety. Alright, I found a used eyelet that I'm going to recycle. But the idea is to clamp this down. Now, I still need to try to find my, well, bumblebee. I don't know if you can hear the bee buzzing. He's buzzing up to my camera, but I need to try to find a soldering iron and solder everything. Okay. I think that's a good enough contact. A little muscle power here. Now, I am going to have to cut this eventually. I'm going to cut this line right here and put in a fuse, another fusible link, so that I'm looking at the little area down there, and it looks pretty clean already. See that? It looks pretty clean, so I don't think I need to clean it anymore. But I am going to see if I can find another screw, because this one's like kind of corroded. Let me look for another screw if I can find one. Alright, I found another screw that hopefully will fit. Trying to get it in here. This eyelet barely holds it, so I'm going to try to make sure it has good contact. Basically, we need to make sure it's touching the metal on metal, because that's what was missing. It was not making good contact. Now, this is a potential problem because it's not wanting to screw in. Yeah, this screw is not going to work. It's too small, so we're going to get one that's a little bit bigger. Okay, I couldn't find another screw, so I'm going to go ahead and go with the rusty one. It's not the screw that's making the contact, it's the eyelet. That's what we're trying to press right tight against the frame, the metal frame of the vehicle. Because that's what was loose. That's what was causing the problem. You know, it wasn't making good contact. Metal to metal contact. I'm trying to put it so it has a maximum metal exposure here. But it doesn't want to get tight. See, this can't be loose because that's what was causing the intermittency. It was a connection that kept jiggling loose. It looks like I might have messed the hole up. Yeah, the hole's super loose now. Oh! Even the old one won't work now because the old one's too small. I got to get a bigger nut or bolt or something. Let me see if I can't find something that fits tighter. Alright, I wasn't able to find a larger screw, and I didn't want to make the hole bigger right now. Not right now. So I know this is a potential problem. I am going to go ahead and just put it in like this. It's a little bit loose. I don't know, maybe too loose. I might have to make the hole bigger. Because it has to be a good connection. Without a good connection, we got an issue. I may have to drill another hole. That's what it looks like I may have to do at this point. Start another hole, because it's not going to work. It's got to be a tight fit, because that's what we're having is connectivity issues. I thought I could get away with it, but yeah, it's too loose. I don't know, let me try it one more time here to tighten it. Yeah, see, it's going, and then it'll get tight, and then it gets loose again. So, yeah, it's stripped. I'm gonna have to make a bigger hole. I mean, not bigger hole, smaller hole. Alright, after trying a bunch of different screws and stuff, this is what I came up with. I found a little bolt that fits tight. So I'm kind of forcing it in there, and I put a washer in it to hold it in place flat, because the bolt was going to squeeze through the eyelet. I'm going to lay it like this and try to give it maximum contact with the area that I sanded down. Alright, it's tight. Starting to squeeze it down. Hopefully it'll squeeze it down. Should get it to the point where it doesn't move. Alright, it's making good contact now, but it's not. I'm trying to make it as tight as possible here without stripping it. Okay. I think that is a very good contact. It's as tight as I can get it without it see, it's not moving now, and I think it's making good contact. And I'm going to try to run the line out like this. So we're going to try to get it to come back and go like that. Come out like this after it bends on itself. Try to figure out why it's not catching here. There's a little plastic tab it's got to catch here. Ah! Ah! Okay, I think I got it down. Of course, I probably should have tested it before I do it. Let me start everything up. Alright. At this point, the vehicle has been started. System is off. Let's see if we have connectivity. Okay, it is 12.1, which is the house battery reading, because the system isn't connected. I'm going to try to flip the switch. So it says 12.1. I'm going to flip the switch, and it should jump up to 13 something or start to climb up. So here we go. Flip the switch, and sure enough, it goes up. So, as of right now, we have the thing fixed. Because we thought we had it fixed several times before, so we'll see what happens. It has connectivity at this point. I did, screw it back in. It was just a loose connection. It wasn't making a good ground, and it was breaking the circuit, and it was intermittent. So hopefully my fix will actually fix it. So as of this point, the charger should be working, and it should be charging my house battery when I throw the switch here. So, see, when I disconnect the switch here, it should go to 12 something again. It's dropping back down. See the voltage? It's dropping. So it's 12.6. So it had charged up to like 12.6, but when I flip it on, it'll go back up and start charging some more, because it's sending close to 14 volts. See, it says 13.3 because that's how much voltage is coming through. 13.4. It's gonna come through and charge up this battery down here until it peaks out. So usually I can tell the system's fully charged when it starts saying 13.6. So it says 13.4, 13.5, 13.6. It doesn't take too long to charge the battery up because the alternator is generating a lot of amps. 13.3, 13.4, and then it'll say 13.4, 13.5, 13.5, 13.6. Should be fully charged by then. So it's charging right now. And cross our fingers. Hopefully this is fixed and I don't have to deal with this again. As you can see, I got parts everywhere again. So that hopefully will teach you or show you if you don't know how to diagnose this stuff. Basically, we had to check the continuity. We had to check to make sure that we had a complete circuit. And I had first suspected that maybe the switch was bad or the cable over there at the inline fuse might have been bad. I rewired all this because it was loose and broken and old. This is like 3-year-old wiring. So checked all the positive, and the positive was working, then realized it was the ground. And the ground is simple. It's just this line to the chassis here. And replacing it, you can see us fixed it. At least for now. So we'll see what happens. So it's 13.4, 13.3, 13.4. So it's charging up. And like, you know, when I turn this off now, I'm going to turn off the connection between the two batteries. You'll see it starts to drop. So that's 12.9, 12.8. 12.8 is usually what a battery will read, a 12-volt battery when it's fully charged. So it's dropped to 12.7, 12.6. So it could use a little bit more charging. That's assuming the battery itself will hold the charge, because sometimes batteries, when they get older, they won't hold the full charge. So 12.6 is reasonable, you know. And that was just us charging it for a few minutes. But I'm going to flip it back up and let it charge just a little bit more. See? You know, jump back up and charge. Cross your fingers. I got mine crossed. So until next time, everyone, take care. God bless you all. I hope wherever you are, you're not having to deal with crazy problems like this. Bye-bye now.